Hi everyone, I'm going to have to start this video on the go. The test center is on my left hand side. This test took place on 30th of September 2025 at around 1:25 p.m. The current time is 2:10 p.m. So this is for the people who always ask me what sort of test route am I going to come across, or what sort of traffic you're going to encounter on the way. It's a slightly busy time of the day, and it was follow the sat nav. This test route has been used several times in the past before, but it's just that I haven't had time to record it. So it was a navigation based driving. My car was facing the traffic lights, as you can see. The test center is on my left hand side, and the navigation asked the learner to turn left at the traffic lights. As I turn left, there's another set of traffic light which is rarely red. However, if you're coming from the opposite side and turning right, it does turn red, so you got to keep an eye. As I turn left, it's 2 lanes, so I'll make sure that I turn into the left lane and then merge into one as I come past the traffic light. The speed limit is 30, so where I started the video, it was just turning 30 just after that, so coming from 20 into 30. See the flow markings, so I'll check my right mirror and create up my speed limit 30. Going slightly downhill. Potential hazard on my left hand side, as I can see, but the road is wide enough, so I'll proceed cautiously. The sign's hidden behind that, as you can see, dual carriageway ahead, and the navigation asks me to turn right in 600 yards. However, I'm going to make sure I check my left mirror and exit the left hand lane to start with as a learner. And now where you see the green set of traffic lights, the crossing, that's approximately 400 yards, so which is when the navigation saying 400 yards turn right. So I'll check my right mirror, flick the right indicator, make more observations, and switch the lane as early possible. Now this is sort of a traffic that you're going to encounter on your test day, possibly any time after 12 p.m. up to like 3:30, and if I leave it too late to switch the lane, I might get myself into trouble for being in the correct position. So around here it's about 120 yards, so I'll flick the right indicator again. The navigation will be asking me to turn right at the traffic lights, and new lanes are merged, and I anticipate the left lights would change. There you go. So now the road that I'm turning in is 20, and while you're waiting at set of traffic light, you make sure you observe what's going on in the road that you're about to turn. For example, the speed limit change, which is 20 now. Not only that, you also got to keep an eye if there are any further restrictions, because my view is very clear at the moment. I hope my camera can catch the speed limit signs there. It's just one on my left hand side and another one across the road on the right hand side. The navigation then asks bear left in 100 meters, which is turn left. So if the examiner sees you're not paying attention to indication, they'll ask you to turn left, because the way the navigation's been set up, it's a bit old school. It's been old style, so it hasn't taken these new left turns into consideration yet. There's a hazard there, door closed, no oncoming traffic. It is very important that you drop your speed in these little sharp bends. These are traffic calming ways in place. And with the non-coming traffic, you're also going to have to make sure that you show sufficient clearance of the parked cars. So I'll slow myself down here as the gaps narrow down. And this is what you have to produce and evidence on the test day. Once again, cars parked left, right, oncoming traffic is for you. If you believe there's a slightly bigger vehicle coming towards you, the better option is to just wait. At the traffic lights, turn right. That's what the navigation says. And the speed limit is unchanged. Another oncoming traffic, that's indicating turn right, but because it's a small junction, you're gonna have to go in front of each other, making sure my car is not in the path of the oncoming traffic. Speed hump, so even though the speed limit is 20, currently my speed is about 10, but as soon as I come past the speed hump, I'll regain my lost speed. It is also equally important that if it is safe to do so, you position yourself correctly on top of a speed hump, like evenly on both sides, only if it's safe. For example, no car parked right in front of your speed hump. In that case, you might have to use the central one. Okay, there's a bend ahead of me, so I anticipate non-coming traffic. However, the road is wide enough for 2 cars. As I go around the bend, my view is a lot clearer. So again, I'll use the left side. Okay, I see non-coming traffic, so I slow myself down. This is my calculation. I'll leave big gap with the parked car. I check my mirror and I go around the parked car. Try and make it look as smooth and as efficient as possible. Here the navigation says take the second exit. So now the second exit is before 12 o'clock, which means no indication to start with. But as I come past the first exit, I'm going to have to do my mirror signal left around here. Take this exit. The speed limit is unchanged. However, there's a new speed limit sign there which says 30. Now 30 applies to turning left and right because there's a separate set of speed limit changes across the road. So indicate right, as you can see, 30 speed limit, and across the road with the yellow background to make it look more prominent is 20. Because we are turning left and right, we're turning right, which is why the 30 speed limit applies. Unless I turn into the road on the right and then there's a new speed limit sign there, then that's the one I'm going to have to follow. Once again, this is at driver side to driver side, means I can see the oncoming car indicating, means I have to go around that car because the junction is a lot bigger. Unless that driver decides to come in front of me, in that case the only option I've got left is to just stop. So we'll just see what the oncoming traffic does there, but you got to stand your ground as far as it's safe. Okay, I'll proceed with caution. Look at that, perfectly fine. So driver side to driver side means going around each other. If this car leaves me a gap, I'll go. There's nothing after this car, so the ladies decided to block my path. Now I can proceed with caution. Entering the left lane, bus lane ahead of me. Check my right mirror, flick the right indicator, no one there. And avoid the bus lane. Speed limit is 30. Now the navigation says at the next roundabout in about, like, let's say 400 yards, take the first exit. Now the first exit on the sign on my left is Mitcham. However, I've got a bus lane. Not only do I have a bus lane, once I switch to the left hand lane, there's another bus lane on the far left lane. So I'll check my mirror here, indicate left. I'll make my checks again and again, switch the lane. Now here's another bus lane on my left. I'll leave my indicator on. If I was going towards Sutton, I would turn off my indicator. Bus lane comes to an end again. Get myself in the furthest left lane. The first exit, the speed limit is 20 here. Now these traffic lights ahead of me they do change red, as you can see. So if you're not paying attention, it's very likely that you might jump the red light. As I go past these set of traffic lights, as I'm aware, the speed limit changes back to 30. The speed limit sign on my left hand side. Just those switching of bus lane and that traffic light junction is a slightly tricky part for learner drivers. I hope you could see how much traffic was there on Roundabout, but it wasn't really bad for this time. So it's 2:15 at the moment, roughly. Navigation says continue straight ahead, so I'm going to have to get into the left hand lane, which is an ideal lane to go straight ahead every time, unless the road marking says otherwise. I anticipate the lights might change. Okay, learner driver's slight poor lane discipline, however, carry on. Now from here I can see a 20 sign, so as a learner I'm currently doing 27, so I'm going to gradually start reducing my speed, means coming off accelerator, apply gentle brakes, and as I hit the sign I'm already at 20 now. If you come across at a speed, you might get marked down, and even more harshly at the traffic lights. Turn left. This is what, assuming that you're following the navigation on the day. And as a turn left, the speed limit's unchanged, but as a learner driver you gotta get in the habit of, every time you turn into a new road, look all around for any changes. Look at the road markings. As I move off from here, I'll quickly glass my left mirror for any potential cyclists. I have a zebra crossing ahead, and this zebra crossing does get very busy during the school hours because there's a school on the right hand side. So if you see a lot of school kids around, you're going to have to be very, very cautious. Once again, slightly bigger vehicle coming towards me here, I would hold back because the gap becomes very, very tight around these bends. Vehicle parked on my left hand side, so the priority is for the oncoming traffic. But once I've entered the zone, the only thing I can do if the gap's really tight, let's say with this van, is just to slow down. Look at this. My current speed 8 miles an hour, but just to give a rough idea of how slow I was going through this gap. Once again, speed hump, my current speed is about 12 miles an hour. And I get to the width restriction. The best way to deal with width restriction is pre-position your car straight from the very start. My current speed is about 8, and as I go through this gap, I pre-position, say 5 miles an hour, 4 now, 3. That's it. This is how we teach students to do it. If I was to go, I could easily go in there at 15 miles an hour speed or 20. However, how a learner should be doing it, that's exactly how I've done it. Just so you know, on several occasions you might be asked to pull up on the left hand side. Not several, it's more or less 4 times, 5 times if you've carried out in a maneuver. Speed limit unchanged, still following the sat nav. Sat nav says take the next road on your left, where there's a triangle sign. So mirror signal left is a very, very narrow road. Always anticipate someone's gonna be coming fast out of it. Cars park left, right, and look, as I turn, there's this orange one on the left and a van on the right hand side. So when you're driving in tight roads, always just anticipate that you're gonna encounter these things on the way. Okay, this is where the independent driving would normally come to an end. And I assume that this is about 14 minutes, 15 minutes of drive, because you're going to be making several stops on the way. So the independent driving is about 20 minutes of your total driving. It can be 16 minutes, 17, 18. Now looking on the sign on my left, so if the examiner is not going to say anything here, hazard there, dual carriageway, and next green arrow again, you can only go left. If you indicate, it's not a fault, but if you don't indicate, it's perfectly fine. But there's only one way to go. There's a bus lane on my left hand side, nothing coming from the right, so I'm gonna have to jump onto the right. So it's a new bus lane that's been painted on this road, which is A2 line 7. Speed limit 30. There was speed limit change sign where I just pointed out the blue sign, the dual carriageway. So if you rewind the video, you might be able to see the sign. So be very careful with this bus lane, because people pay too much attention checking traffic on the right hand side, and they turn left and they end up in the bus lane, which would be a serious fault. Unless they marginally cut through it, then it could lead to a minor fault, which is a driving fault. And if for some reason this video seems a bit different for the some part of it, that would be because my camera is either lost battery or I've lost connection on it. So the examiner will tell you turn right at the traffic lights. So the best way to deal with this traffic light is to indicate slightly early, because we have a bus lane on the left hand side. As you can see, that little white car moved onto the left hand lane after the bus lanes come to an end. It helps the driver behind not keep staying behind us, because we would then prevent them from going straight ahead. So it's an early warning. So this is sort of traffic you would encounter on the day. If your test was around, let's say, between 9 AM and 12 PM, then you wouldn't really have this much traffic. Okay. Now, because the light's been green for a while, I anticipate the lights might change. I'll cover my brakes and I'll ignore the lights now. Oncoming traffic quite far away. Easy turn for myself. Speed limit change to 20. And the examiner will ask you turn left at the roundabout, first exit. So very slow around here. Mirror signal left. Okay. Nothing on my right hand side. Very narrow entrance, so with the car parked on the corner, go very slow. What's my speed currently? 7 miles an hour. I can see a moped, so I'll stay here. The slower you go, the more time you have. Very narrow neck, and with the cars parked left, right, even on the pavement, because there's not enough room on this road. Very cautiously. Now the problem here is the road's only very narrow, and there's only space for one car at a time, so the oncoming cars would have priority over you. In that case, you need to identify these little spaces where you can pull up. So there's the one coming up on my left hand side. So if I see someone coming, I'm going to go and position myself on the left hand side. The best way to do is go very slowly, go into this gap very nice and slow, and tilt your car slightly at an angle outside, leaving enough space for the oncoming traffic, just demonstrating to help learner drivers. And as the oncoming traffic goes past you, just carry on. If there was someone here, then I would go back onto the left hand side again, something like that. Speed limit change. It may look crazy that it's how is this road 30, but because it's 30 going further ahead, so they just placed a sign there. Now the examiner will ask you to turn right onto dual carriageway. Very tricky. If you're in a manual car, you might find it a little bit difficult. I can spot a hazard, the cyclist, who is completely oblivious of my presence here. Okay, I would indicate right. Okay, it's a staggered junction. So paying attention on the right hand side is absolutely clear. People cut through straight ahead. What you need to do is go left first and then go right to make sure you enter the correct side of the road. Okay, there's a car coming, but I can go before that van. Speed limit is 30, as spotted there. Examiner will tell you to turn left where the red car's just turned. So I'm currently doing 24. There's a 20 speed limit sign, as you can see ahead. Because I'm not going straight, therefore the speed limit is still unchanged, which is 30. It's turning left onto the love lane. This is where most learner drivers would pick up an appropriate speed fault, because they start doing 20 here, which is why if you carry on doing 20 for a very long stretch in a 30 zone or a 30 in a 40 zone, then you can potentially get serious fault for this. I'm currently doing, I can spot a van merging out from the junction on the left. Okay, currently doing 26. This is what you need to do on your test. Produce an evidence. Approach a mini roundabout. The exam will tell you, okay, continue straight across the roundabout. It's the second exit. Nothing on my right hand side because it's not possible for the traffic to come, but I would still look. No oncoming traffic coming around, and the speed limit changes to 20. I'm really hoping that I can complete this video in one battery charge. This road where you would have a lot of meeting situation with the oncoming traffic. So it's down to your judgment to how far the oncoming traffic is, who's got more space on their side, who has the priority, who has the hazard parked on their side of the road, if there's enough gap for 2 cars. And coming up to this point, the examiner is going to ask you, turn right at the roundabout, make sure you come past the junction, then indicate right. The floor marking says 30. The speed sign is hidden just past this truck on the left. I hope the camera can catch it. For manual learners, it's dangerous here because it's a hill start turning right. Nothing after this great Mercedes, so I'll proceed with caution, making sure I go around this roundabout. No indication on the exit because a mini roundabout, and the speed limit is 30. The examiner will ask you to pull up somewhere safe along this road leading straight up to the test center. If my video ends here for some reason, just assume I've run out of battery. And okay, so my safe spot would be here on the left. I would mirror signal left and pull up next to this tree, not where the double yellow lines are. Once again, unsafe. My next spot is after these double yellow lines on the left, around here. Raised curb, once again. So parking restriction in place, even though safe spots, but because the parking restriction is placed, I cannot pull up there because no more longer safe spot. Okay, this is the last half of your driving test. Ideally, I would stay in the left-hand lane. My right-hand lane is empty, but now that trucks decide they want to go there. Speed limit unchanged. This is where your test might come to an end. How long did it take me to drive? Approximately, this video has been running for about 22 minutes and a half. So considering you're going to carry out a maneuver on the way and you're going to make few stops and moving off, given the situation of traffic, and your license check at the beginning, eyesight check, tell me question, this makes up to, let's say, 7-8 minutes. So if you add 7-8 minutes and stops, your test would be about 35 minutes long approximately. There have been few more new test routes which I haven't encountered, but I've seen examiners taking them, learner drivers different. But the whole purpose of the video is to help you gain local knowledge, because it's about developing skills, not learning where the routes are. Okay, 2 lanes merging into one. Okay, so I'll just decide what I'm going to do here. I will pull up on the left hand side where usually, so mirror signal left and pull up right round in this red box. And this is where your test is going to come to an end. I hope you benefit from this video, and thank you for your comments. And if you have any questions, you can ask. And best of luck for anyone with taking their test.